Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where I don't know why I said it without cadence necessarily, but so be it. I've done a lot of recording today, as usually on Saturdays is usually when I do the bulk of my recording for all my Let's Play videos. So now we're sort of cooling down a bit of Animal Crossing. What's the song for today? It's still Anti-You from Project Sakai. It's still in my head. I'm starting to learn the lyrics of it though, so you got that going on. Although I need to actually sort of, not like sit down and translate, but like sit down and like read a translation to really make sure my Japanese skills are up to scratch. But hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow at 6 PM on Saturday, April 12th, 2025. That's it? Really? Well, a very, very short announcement today, Isabel. I assume it's because it just turned 6 that maybe the fishing tourney has finished? I'm not sure. What's been happening? Last night played a decent amount of Rabbit and Steel. Well, last night also had the D&D session, which I think I spoke about, really. Excuse me. In the Animal Crossing episode, it was a pretty good one, and I talked mostly about the combat encounter design, which I had planned going in and how my players smartly circumvented some parts of it and smartly didn't. I don't know. I mean, didn't makes it sound a lot more dismissive when I say it after that, when really on the whole I was impressed. But anyway, you can watch yesterday's video if you want that. I think I'm coming up to the end of both Little Gate's game and Another Crab's Treasure, which is a little bit worrying because I'm like, I haven't even done the Animal Crossing thumbnail art. I've just been like so insanely busy that it's really hard to find the time to do so. You know what? Let's open up Clip Studio Paint. If I have some time today, then I don't see why I shouldn't. I will say though that instead of doing the Animal Crossing thumbnail art, I played Rabbit and Steel for numerous hours last night with my friends. It's good. Like we've done a great achievement. All of us have beaten hard mode with every character. We're moving on to Luna, and oh boy, Luna is a whole different beast of difficulty. Like, harder is sort of like something you can kind of vibe out. Like, the first time you see it, you're like, okay, yeah, I kind of get what's going on. Luna is like, okay, you kind of get what's going on, but then it's also like, how do I ensure that I can we come up with a strategy which makes sure that we can do it consistently? Because it's not good enough to just be like, oh yeah, I need to dodge it like this anymore. Well, at least in my opinion, it's not good enough to be like, oh, I just got to move out of way of this anymore. It's like, okay, yes, but you know, everyone's got to move out of way of that now. So how do we all come together to make sure we can do so? There's like there's chains going on, there's stretching with tethers, and it's a lot of complication, but a fun complication, which I'm very much here for. My friend has taken the proactive step to actually start recording, like as we're going through. So once we reach a boss where it's like we haven't played this before, like what the heck was going on with that attack, we can now look back and be like, okay, now we have an idea. About execution is the harder part, which is fair enough, but I suppose it cuts out that middleman of having to sort of bash your head against a wall numerous times, trying to like even understand what's going on in the attack, which, you know, to be fair, can be the joy of it. That's kind of like, I suppose your mileage may vary when it comes to that. I don't mind either way. You know, result, it kind of more depends on the means in the end. No, hold on, depends on the result at the end, is what I mean. We haven't talked to Katarina for ages, so I don't know why I did this, but, you know, every time we're here, it's just more like a... what should we call it? Like, muscle memory at this point. But yeah, so... I'm not going to talk about Rabbit and Steel yet. I feel like I'll start talking about it once we, like, beat Luna mode or something, and then I'll be like, okay, I have a pretty good idea what's going on. I feel still like there's a lot to, like, learn more in-depth about it, which is why I'm like, I don't want to talk about it exactly yet. What game am I going to play after Another Crab's Treasure, though, and, what should I call it? Little Gator game. Did I decide on something? Let's see. Apparently I haven't updated my notepad for ages. That is not the game which is coming after the Little Gator game. I'm not sure what will come up next. Let me have a look-see. What I want to go next. I completely forgot I downloaded Atlas to play. Oh, that could be an interesting game. That's a really, you know what? That's a great game suggestion. I'm going to put that down because that's going to be a real change of pace, I think, from Little Gator game. Another Crab's Treasure. That's a game which I've currently got following. I don't know if I want to do that one next. I think probably what I want to do is... it's either that game or that game. I think I'll do this game. And then we can do that game. a little bit behind curve of when people are playing it, but there you go. Animal well. What's going to follow animal well? That's a great question. I don't know. So I'm like updating my notepad of what future games I need to play. Because apparently this is... I've decided apparently this is the best time to do so, which makes no sense. What puzzle games do I have left? Patrick's Power Box, I guess? I guess so. Animal Wells, I think, still got quite a lot in it, so... This game's going to be interesting. What does the thumbnail art look like for this game? Okay, it's going to be probably a decent amount easier. What the heck is this? Oh, these probably also should be... I got to start moving them to the... This is in waiting list. This is in waiting list. Atlas is in, I guess, with friends or solo, I guess. I'm going to put continuous. That probably makes most sense. Cat Quest 2? That's probably on waiting list. I think it's been on waiting list for ages. Castle Break? I don't even know what game this is. Citizen Sleeper? I don't know. What is the other game I bought recently? Where I was just like, this is something I'm adding this game to my waiting list. Future ones to come out. I don't know. Oh, it's this one. Yes, okay. That should be on the waiting list. That might actually be a better one to play after another Crab's Treasure. You know what? I'm gonna put that in. Oh, maybe that's a good stream game actually. No, I don't think it is. We'll do this. It's just been ages since I've ever updated sort of list of mine of the games I've got to play, you know. Oh, that's a really good one as well to play on the... Maybe not immediately, but... Okay, sorry, yes. There's a lot of things which I had to sort out there. I like to categorize my things, unsurprisingly. Where am I going? Including, like, the folders and stuff I have for things. Like, you would not believe how many folders I have for everything. Like, all my bookmarks are in folders as well. You know, I've got a D&D folder, I've got a Dear Darling folder, gaming, and all the gaming... And in the gaming folder, I've got all the different games I play, like the HoYoverse games, Idle Games, League of Legends, Neopets, Pokemon. Shiny Colors, I get its own one because there were so many guides I used to read about Shiny Colors. Saying that, I'd also need to start, like, playing more Shiny Colors again. Because there was a new mode that was released, which has left me behind because I've not yet learned really how to play it. And it's been absolutely ages. But yeah, I don't know, like, folders and categorization. I think it's like, I don't know, has it always been an inherent part of how I work? I suppose so. I'm trying to think back to school time. Because, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of built into at least the school system for UK. I mean, it's very normal that you have separate books. I mean, I shouldn't say for UK, I think it's probably quite normal across the world, but you have separate books, right, for every single class. And I don't mean like textbooks, I mean like exercise books. You work with like different, weirdly, different sized books for every single class. Like in UK at least, the maths books we had would always be gridded paper. And when you're in primary school, they're big enough that you can actually write the numbers in. But when you get to secondary school, they're actually surprisingly small for whatever reason. I don't know necessarily why. They were always this dark blue colour. Despite the fact that because of primary school, I think I've always associated maths with yellow colour because that's what they were in primary school for me. But yeah, every single subject had their own specific book which you used to take your notes in. Like, I can still remember in secondary school, all the colours, like history was red. Like, this is why I still have the association of the subjects with these colours, is because of the textbooks I used mainly in secondary and primary school. History was red, geography was green, so was biology. English was dark blue. I think on both, but for some reason I associate light blue with English language, I don't know, rather than English literature, which is dark blue. Physics was pink. Chemistry was also dark blue. But I kind of started to associate more with purple. But religious studies was also purple. I didn't take it for A-level though, so it became less relevant. Well, I didn't take it for GCSE, sorry. I mean, also I guess for A-level. What else? What was that? Well, hold on, what subject is it? French? Well, French is a weird exception because the book itself was green, but you could decorate it how you want, and I always decorated it by putting the French flag on it. And, I completely forgot. I don't know why our French teacher was so insistent on this, but our French teacher was like, okay, you can all decorate the front cover of your exercise book however you want. Oh, beautiful, wonderful. I put the French flag on the entire thing because, I mean, what is more French than that? What is a good symbolic representation of France except for the French flag? But the actual books are green. But I remember that she was very, very insistent that you had to basically get these like plastic seal covers to protect your exercise book. And I, you know, at the time I heard about it, I was like, I only vaguely know about this because of other people in school. But you can get like, not vacuum seal, I don't know what it's really called, but like, exercise book plastic. It's not a plastic cover because it's not a plastic sleeve slide in thing. It was literally like a sticky thing which you can sort of fuse to, not fuse, but like almost like you laminate the cover of a book. Sticky? Self-adhesive. Adhesive exercise cover. A cover film, I guess. Cove is what I put, which is not exactly what I wanted. For a book? I think this is it. I think it's a self-adhesive book covering, which I'd never heard of before. I had no idea how you do it. Obviously, I could figure it out, I think, now. But I remember like going back to my parents, obviously, and being like, hey, our teacher wants us to get like book covers for our book. And I remember my parents being like, okay. So they went to W.H. Smith and they just like bought a book cover. And then it was a book cover which didn't fit the size of the exercise book because for some reason the French and Spanish books were less than A5 size. Is that right? A4. Like they opened up to A4, maybe. No, smaller than A4. Because I think my parents bought like an A5 book size thing, and then the French or Spanish, or I don't know. Either way, the plastic cover sleeve we had didn't fit it. So I just like used a French book which didn't fit in the plastic sleeve the entire time for no apparent reason. It was way more inconvenient than just having it, you know, be as itself. But I don't know, I used that for my entire GCSE period. You might be like, what about when you learned Spanish as well? And I can say that, yes, I also did the Spanish book cover with a Spanish flag. Even printing out like their coat of arms to stick on the front. But yeah, I don't know, I completely forgot about that. Because it was, for whatever reason, it was only the French and... Do I have the same teacher teach Spanish? No. It was only the modern foreign language teachers who wanted us to cover the book with some sort of plastic sleeve cover. For some reason. I don't know why. It's going to be such a weird title for an Animal Crossing episode. It's going to be like self-adhesive book covering, which is going to be absolutely insane. Let's see if there's a Wikipedia article about this. There probably is. Exercise book. I don't know. Clear exercise book covers. Yeah, I don't know. Exercise book covers. I guess that's what I'll call it. And yeah, I don't know why. Because you might be like, what would make more sense is maybe like the chemistry or the biology teachers are like, hey, you gotta do this to protect your books. Because there's a risk of you like spilling chemicals or something on it, which would, you know, probably be not gross negligence, I suppose, of a teacher, but it would be like really not a great thing if that ended up happening. Definitely happened a few times though. I have a memory of in science classes, like before it split off into like chemistry and biology, of us using pH testers. And then I remember like we all were given a really, really tiny beaker, but the pH tester was like massive, so big that it couldn't like fit properly in the beaker. And if you ever let go of a pH tester while it was in the beaker, it would just knock over the beaker. And I remember us being confused because I can't remember, we were like testing something for it, and then we called the teacher over because it wasn't working or something, and then we let go of a pH ring and it knocked over the beaker, and we both simultaneously went, oh, and then the teacher went, glass, you gotta make sure. I don't remember exactly what he said, but something along the lines of, you know, you got to look after the beaker properly or something. I can't remember. It was so random. But I remember in that moment just being like, hey, come on. Why are we using such tiny beakers anyway? No, my initial response apparently was like, this was an inefficiency which we could have resolved instead of, oh, damn. I knocked over the acid. I did clean it up, I'm pretty sure. So... I'm not trying to like frame myself as like the villain in all of this. It's just a random memory I had for some reason. Anyway, not the point. The point is we had these exercise book covers only for modern foreign languages instead of subjects which I would say might need it more. Like, I think it makes a lot more sense, at least to me internally, that it was like, oh yeah, chemistry or physics. Well, chemistry or biology definitely should be the top two for those which you need to cover. Chemistry, you got chemical, like, things which would spill on it. That would be bad. Biology, contrary to what, you know, TV shows might make you think, you actually rarely do dissections, at least in my biology lessons. We never actually dissected, like, an animal, I think. We only dissected a heart, is what I recall. I do remember going around to the school open day, though, and they were dissecting a rat, or something like that. And I don't know why I remember this, but, like, they dissected open the stomach to be like, oh yeah, this is, like, the stomach, obviously, and, like, you can see the like, I'm sorry if you're squeamish about this sort of thing, I don't know why I'm talking about this. But, like, the digestion of, like, the grains, I can't remember, like, the oats or something that the rat was eating, I suppose, before, you know, it was perished. So I don't know why that came to mind, but it did. I guess the point was that for some reason in biology we didn't need to have these plastic covers to help protect the outer cover, I suppose, of the exercise book. It just instead is, I don't know, free to take on the elements. Now, did I ever damage my exercise books with them? No. I think actually the most common cause of damage probably would have been spilling water on something, which I can't remember doing, but I have a strange feeling I spilt water when I was writing an English essay at one point. But it was still legible, it just was messy. And when I apologised to the teacher, being like, I'm sorry, I spilled water when I was writing this. And she was like, it's fine. Because I was a good student, and you can get away with a lot if you're a good student. Yeah. So I don't know why. So I don't know, I guess there's two I don't know why. I don't know why the foreign language teachers were so insistent that we had this sort of covering to make sure that we didn't damage the books. And I was also not sure why that I never bothered to actually get a proper size-fitting exercise book thing or tell my parents afterwards, hey, this doesn't fit. Can we get, like, one which actually fits? I've generally got no clue. It baffles me even now, thinking back to it, why I did that for, like, 5 years or something. 5 years? That's too long. 4 years. It generally makes no sense. Why I did that. So, this is kind of funny now. Because I do remember thinking, when I was younger, being like, oh, it's kind of cool to see the, like, the plastic coverings that other, like, kids have on their books. It, like, looks really neat and stuff, and I'd like, oh, I'd like to do that as well at some point, but I was like, I don't really know how it works. I don't really know how I'm going to do that. And thus, never have it been done. You might say, that's a sin. I guess it kind of is. It's kind of just more weird, if anything, I think. It's kind of random, isn't it? Anywho, I guess I'll round this episode off here. I didn't even realise it's been 18 minutes. You know what, I'll make a thumbnail art, and then the MS Paint one, and then we'll round this episode off here. So let's just copy paste that. 1845. Because we might as well do it now, with a bit of time left over. I don't know what colour we've sort of looped around. I've used a weird beige colour last time, which is practically unreadable. I guess we'll do this faint purple. No, this faint blue I don't think I've done. It's actually the chemistry book colour, so it's perfect. I'm going to put, I don't know what I put as a tagline here, like an ill-fitting sleeve. Like an ill-fitting sleeve. And then I don't know, I'll just put like a tiny book back here. And a tiny size. Like, you can't really see what's going on with these thumbnail arts, but whatever. That looks more like a Polaroid if I do it like that. Okay, just do that. And then I'll put like a tiny book in here. Because that's what it did. It was like in the corner. That's going to make no sense to anyone, but except for me. Anyway, on that note, I guess I'll round this episode off here. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. Well, that's not what I meant to do. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope we see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time. Bye-bye for now.